All right. Hello, 8th grade. I guess it's good Monday morning to you all. Maybe it's Friday afternoon for me. I decided I would try to video in front of my Christmas tree. The back door light is what that light over here is that you see. That's kind of messing with things. First of all, I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to make this week. We're going to kind of see how it goes. But I want to go ahead and just kind of tell you about an outline of the way the week is going to go. So today, you'll do Simple Solutions 67. You'll check Simple Solutions 67 and 68 tomorrow. Just because that's the way it works out. Tomorrow you'll have a Simple Solutions quiz. Wednesday, you'll do 2 Simple Solutions lessons and check both of them. Because on Thursday, you'll take an open book test. And it'll be an open book test over chapters 1 through 13. I may go ahead and put it on Wednesday, and I won't have it due until Thursday. To give you a little extra time to work on it. Some of the sections are kind of long, but we just got to get to a good stopping point, which is the end of chapter 13, which is where the test is for chapters 1 through 13. So,
yes, I'm sure. I'm just at home.
The more I think about it, I probably will actually put the test on maybe Tuesday, and that will give you 3 full days to work on it. So, you'll still have your Simple Solutions quiz on Tuesday, but I'll put the test on Tuesday, but will give you 3 full days to work on it, and it will be open book. Today, you're just going to read 13.3. Chapter 13 is about moving west. So 13.1 started with talking about Texas, and how Texas was for a short time its own state, the Alamo, all of that. 13.2, you talked about Jedediah Smith and about moving west. James Beckworth, William Becknell, some of the people known for moving west. Then you have the call to Oregon, is Explorers 13.3. As explorers blazed many trails through the American West, travel to the west became more frequent. In the autumn of 1832, 4 Indian chiefs representing the Flathead and Nez Perce tribes arrived in St. Louis, Missouri. They had come on a long journey of more than 3,000 miles from their home in the Oregon country because a white man had witnessed to their tribes about the one true God. The tribes had held council fire and chosen these 4 men to go east and seek someone who would teach them more about God than the Bible. When they reached St. Louis, the Indians met the superintendent of Indian Affairs, famous explorer William Clark of the Lewis Clark expedition. The 4 Indians received a grand study of the tour, but unfortunately, there wasn't anybody who could speak their language. And so they end up going back. 2 of the Indians ended up dying, and they ended up going back without really any knowledge of the Bible because no one spoke their language. So the first man to respond to the Indians' call was Jason Lee, a Methodist missionary. And so then you read about him moving out west to Oregon, and about him, and about Dr. John McLaughlin, who did missionary work. Then you're going to read about the Whitman missions, Dr. Marcus Whitman, and Reverend Henry Spalding. Then you're going to read about the Great Migration. While the Spaldings settled on the Clearwater River in Idaho and ministered to the Nez Perce, the Indians established a mission among the Cayuse Indians, not far from where the city of Walla Walla, Washington stands today. In 1843, Marcus Whitman led the Great Migration, a train of 120 wagons with 1,000 pioneers safely into Oregon. It was the largest wagon train ever to go west. Missionary activity expanded to include the new settlers. After the Whitmans' 2-year-old daughter drowned in the Walla Walla River, they began to adopt children. The Whitmans' ministry grew and prospered, but unfortunately there was a measles outbreak. And the white man was able to survive the measles outbreak better than the Indians because we naturally had immunity built up to it. And so when the Cayuse chief loses 2 of his children to the measles epidemic, like many of them, he thought the Whitmans were saving the white kids and not saving his children. He didn't understand that it was just this immunity had been built up and that's why the white kids were surviving and the Native American or the Indian kids were not. And so because he couldn't understand it. On November the 29th, 1847, the chief and several Cayuse warriors attacked the mission and murdered Marcus and Narcissa Whitman. Many of the Indians had become Christians and loved the Whitmans. 3 of the Indians risked their lives to protect others at the missions. They later buried the dead at the mission. And so it goes on and talks about the Nez Perce tribe, surrounded the Spalding mission on the Clearwater River and protected the Spaldings from violence. This tribe later captured the murderers and brought them to government officials for trial and execution. Benefits of Christianity. Then it talks about the Oregon Trail, and that's what you see a picture of down there, is the Oregon Trail and all those wagons that would have been moving. As word of the fruitful Pacific Northwest spread east, thousands of Americans followed their dreams of settling the West and began the wagon train journey to Oregon. And so going on, stuffing as many of their belongings as possible into covered wagons. Family left friends and relatives heading to Oregon. Their wagons soon earned the name Prairie Schooners because the white tops of their covered wagons looked like the sails of a ship. The journey began in Independence, Missouri. Leaving Independence in the early spring, the pioneers had 2,000 miles of high plains and mountains to cross by late fall in order to avoid the mountain snows. And then there's the blue box there. Be sure to read that because it's an actual journal of a guy who moved from Massachusetts to Oregon. So it gives you a good idea of a first-hand account of what somebody went through. Talks about Courthouse Rock, which is a place that they would have stopped by on their way, and there's a picture of Chimney Rock, Nebraska on page 194. So today you will read all of 13 point.
Scarlet.
My dog doesn't like the fact that somebody is probably out there mowing, which is weird. It's December and he's out there mowing, but I probably need to mow my yard. So anyway, but that's 13.3. That's kind of me hodgepodging over 13.3. I probably will go ahead and do at least one more video tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow.